My husband had been hiding a prenup in our attic for 12 years. A prenup with my forged signature that would leave me with absolutely nothing. Let me take you back to how this all started. I thought I had the perfect marriage. David and I met in college, and he was everything I dreamed of: ambitious, caring, and madly in love with me. We got married right after graduation in this beautiful ceremony that his family paid for. I was so grateful because my parents had passed away when I was 19, and David's family welcomed me like their own daughter. For 12 years, we built what I thought was our dream life together. He became a successful real estate developer, and I worked as a nurse while also managing our household. We had 2 beautiful kids, Emma and Jake. David always handled the finances because, honestly, numbers weren't my thing, and he was so good at it. But looking back now, there were signs I should have noticed. He was obsessed with keeping important documents safe. Everything went into a fireproof safe in our bedroom, and he was the only one with the combination. When I'd ask about our financial planning or life insurance, he'd kiss my forehead and say, "Don't worry, baby. I've got everything handled. You focus on the kids." Last month, David went on a business trip to Phoenix. The day before he left, our air conditioning broke, and it was 90 degrees in the house. The repair guy said something was wrong with the ductwork in the attic, so I grabbed a flashlight and climbed up there to take a look. That's when I found the manila envelope wedged behind some insulation, labeled Important DNS Davidson. Inside was a prenuptial agreement dated 3 days before our wedding. According to this document, I had agreed to waive all rights to David's assets, his business, even our family home. In case of divorce, I would receive a measly $5,000 and no alimony. But here's the thing that made my blood run cold: I had never seen this document before in my life. I stared at the signature. It looked like mine, but something felt off. The way the S curved in Sarah wasn't quite right. My God, had he forged my signature? I called my friend Lisa, who's a paralegal. "Lisa, I need you to look at something, and I need you to be completely honest with me." 20 minutes later, she was sitting at my kitchen table, studying the prenup with a magnifying glass. Her face went pale. "Sarah, honey, this signature, it's definitely not yours. See how the pressure is inconsistent? And the angle of your last name is completely different from your normal writing. This is a forgery." I couldn't breathe. My husband of 12 years had forged a prenup to steal everything from me. But then Lisa found something else that made everything 10 times worse. "Sarah, look at this date. This wasn't just signed before your wedding, this was notarized and filed with the county clerk 2 weeks after you got married. What kind of person plans to destroy their wife's life before they even walk down the aisle?" When David came home from his trip, I was waiting for him with the prenup on our kitchen counter. He froze when he saw it, and for a split second, his mask slipped. I saw something cold and calculating in his eyes that I'd never seen before. "Where did you find that?" he asked quietly. "In the attic." Care to explain why I apparently signed a document I've never seen? He sat down and put his head in his hands. "Sarah, I can explain. You forged my signature, David. You filed a fake prenup after we were already married. This isn't a misunderstanding. This is fraud." That's when he broke down completely. Through tears, he confessed everything. Apparently, his business had been failing for years, and he'd been using our joint accounts to cover his losses. He'd maxed out credit cards in both our names and taken a second mortgage on our house without telling me. "The prenup was supposed to protect you," he sobbed. "If my business goes under and creditors come after us, you'd be safe. You'd only lose $5,000 instead of everything." I stared at this man I'd loved for over a decade. "You stole my right to make that choice, David. You committed fraud to protect me? Are you insane?" But then I discovered something that shattered me completely. I found his laptop open on our bed, and there was an email thread with his business partner, Marcus. The subject line was "Exit Strategy, Sarah Problem." The emails revealed their real plan. David was going to divorce me, use the forged prenup to keep all assets, then declare bankruptcy to wipe out his business debts. He'd restart with a clean slate while I'd be left with 2 kids and nothing. One email from Marcus made me physically sick. Just make sure she doesn't get suspicious before you file. Once the divorce is final, she can't contest the prenup. David's response: don't worry. Sarah's too trusting. She still thinks I'm handling everything for our future. I had been sleeping next to a stranger who was planning to destroy my life. That night, while David slept peacefully beside me, I made copies of everything: the forged prenup, the emails, bank statements showing the fraudulent transactions. I contacted 3 lawyers before sunrise. The next morning, I served David with divorce papers and a lawsuit for fraud, forgery, and theft. His face went from confusion to pure panic when he realized I knew everything. Sarah, please, let's talk about this. The only talking we'll be doing is through lawyers. You want to play games with fake documents? Let's see how that works out for you. Within a week, I had frozen all our accounts and filed a police report for forgery. The district attorney was very interested in David's business practices, especially when I showed them the forged prenup and the conspiracy emails. David tried everything: tears, anger, threats, promises to change. He even had his mother call me, begging me to drop the charges for the sake of the children. I told her, your son committed multiple felonies against his own wife. The children deserve to see that actions have consequences. 6 months later, David pled guilty to fraud and forgery. He lost his real estate license. Our house was sold to pay back the creditors, but I got my fair share since the prenup was invalid. The court awarded me full custody and substantial alimony from his remaining assets. The most satisfying moment came when Marcus, his business partner, was arrested for money laundering. Apparently, their exit strategy emails were evidence in a much larger fraud investigation. David now lives in a studio apartment and works at a car dealership. He gets supervised visits with our kids every other weekend. Emma asked me last month why Daddy tried to steal from Mommy, and I told her the truth. Sometimes people make very bad choices, but that doesn't mean we stop loving ourselves enough to accept them. As for me, I went back to school and got my nurse practitioner degree. I bought a small house that's completely mine, and my kids are thriving. Some nights I look at that forged prenup I keep in my safe, not as a reminder of betrayal, but as proof that I'm stronger than I ever imagined. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, investigate. And never, ever let someone else control your financial future without your knowledge. Have you experienced something like this? Tell me in the comments.